Hello and welcome into Talking Bengals, the world's realest podcast because we keep it real. And right now, keeping it real means that times are not good. They're just not a good time to be a Bengals fan, Nick.
Yeah, I would say who day, but I think the entire league is saying we day.
Uh,
And it's really frustrating to watch a game knowing at any point in time the wheels are just going to fall off. And I think it's literally the captain who's driving the ship.
yeah,
And I think I was reading Lance McAllister. We're just going to jump right in because,
let's do it.
doing it live. I
Word.
think it was Lance McAllister who made a post about it. And it essentially got down to the point, I'm obviously paraphrasing, grossly paraphrasing, along the path of Zach Taylor's the easiest person to fire, the
Mhm.
easiest person for the organization to just essentially say, look, guys, we're going to put a new head coach in and we're going to fix things. Well, that's what we thought you were going to do when you let Marvin go. I think if we had a Marvin Lewis with the group of guys that we have now, I think that we're at least 500.
Yeah, maybe. They're bad.
I,
So bad.
I, I just Marvin Lewis as a head coach at least did head coach things.
Yeah,
Okay, Zach Taylor's an offense coordinator. He should never be hired ever again in the league as a head coach. He should go back to being an offensive coordinator somewhere. Would highly recommend him. As a head coach, nope. Secondly, Duke Tobin needs to be fired now, just blanketly, period.
yeah.
We need to find somebody else who can actually find players that are skilled at the position that they actually play, that are ready to come in day one and perform and compete for the spot. Lastly, my third point, we need to find scouts, period, right? More than just two scouts. We're a National Football League team. We are a professional football team.
Are we
And you
though?
got two scouts. Right now, yes, I'm wearing Tennessee Volunteers hoodie because they look more like a professional football team than the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, it's bad. It's historically bad, legitimately historically bad. The worst team through 10 games in NFL history. They are just horrible as far as defense goes, and it does. It just gets worse every week to the point where you're like, is this real? Can it continue to get worse? Duke Tobin put together the worst defense that's ever existed. The offensive line, ups and downs. I think overall they've been okay this year, but the defense, DJ Turner, Trey Hendrickson. That's it. That's the only good players on the defense. The defense is so bad that people don't even try to tackle. Josh Newton, I would have cut him off the team for sitting there and watching on a 3rd and 17, watching the guy get the first down and just kind of standing around it instead of hitting him. Hit people. That's what defense does. You hit people. It's basic. It's what you do. How do you have the three leaders in missed tackles? Geno Stone, Jordan Battle, Demetrius Knight Jr. That's the top three missed tackle guys. And Barrett Carter, I think, is fifth, if I remember right, fifth in missed tackles. So you have, out of the top five, you have four of them. Yeah, there's a few ties in there. But Duke Tobin, he won't get let go. They're not going to fire Duke Tobin. It's just not going to happen as long as Mike Brown's still around. He takes care of his own, and it's a family. It's not a family, it's a business. Treat it for what it is. And we've been defending Zach recently, and I don't want to be the, oh, now I'm on the other side, fire Zach. But coaching malpractice on a few different things that just blew my mind. Going for the 2-point conversion, I said it in the group chat during the game. I don't mind you went for a 2-point conversion. I like aggressiveness. Could you have gone with a worse play? No one thinks Joe Flacco is going out to catch a pass. Nobody. Absolutely nobody does. So direct snapping it to Chase Brown, expecting him to get a run up the gut end when as soon as they move to that formation, I bet you were saying it too, it's going to be a run up the gut, easily a run up the gut.
Yep.
It's so obvious. And then how do you go timeout and then call another timeout, get a delay of game, all in one drive, and end up with a field goal when you need a touchdown? It's coaching malpractice. And the fact that Zach Taylor still says we have the right pieces in place, we have, this is can still be a championship team. The score is not indicative of how the game actually went. Makes me begin to question his intelligence, because I get it. You don't want to put your team down. No, I don't care what level you're coaching at. You might have heard me at volleyball on Sunday. I lit into my team because there was no hustle. They played like a limp, wet noodle. They didn't even care. Yeah, that's a kids game, and I still lit into them like, you girls got to put forth your effort to be better. You're coaching grown men who get paid to play a game. Hold them accountable. This is not acceptable. It's crappy. No, we do not have the right pieces in place. We need to find the right pieces. We're going to be benching 4, 5, 6 players for the next 2 games, and we're going to put in the practice squad or guys we find off the street because maybe they can do something, as opposed to, you can't make people tackle. Either they want to tackle or they don't want to tackle. Geno Stone, Jordan Battle, they don't want to tackle. PJ Jules has the first or second most tackles for a special teamer. He wants to tackle. Put him out there. None of them can cover, so it's not like that's a big deal anyway. They all suck at coverage, but at least maybe he'll tackle. That'd be an improvement to me. I would just go find some crazy guy on the street. Like, do you want to tackle people? Yeah, I do. Just sign him up.
Let's go get Bobby Boucher, man.
Like it can't get worse. Like it literally can't.
Here's my thing. It's so bad that the announcers are making fun of Geno Stone standing there watching the play go on.
Mm-hmm.
When, what was it, Washington, whoever for the Steelers caught the ball
He's a big
and goes out. And Geno Stone's just standing there like, I don't want to get involved with that. Like, what are you doing? You play football.
All right. I was actually saving this comment for TJ Watt because I hate TJ Watt and he's a punk, but I'll use a different thing for him. But Geno Stone is a Muppet, and I hope he dies of the incurable condition of being a little bitch. That's literally how he plays. Yes, I used one of our curse words, sorry. But that's a quote from Ted Lasso for those who know it. Yeah. But that's how he plays. Like, he's a Muppet. He's not real. The fact that you won't get in on plays, he has done nothing worth talking about the entire season. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
So let's talk about what everybody else is probably talking about too. The whole Jamar Chase incident. I'll let you go first because I have some things I want to say, and I don't want to steal your thunder.
First off, we don't spit on people. We're adults. That's not okay. So don't do that. That being said, I don't say it's okay that he did it, but Jalen Ramsey's a punk. AJ Green was one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, and a very calm, level-headed guy. And he threw Jalen Ramsey to the ground and beat the crap out of him. So that should tell you all you need to know about Jalen Ramsey. I mean, Jamar's a little bit more of a fired-up player, plays with a lot more emotion. This is not the first incident he's had. I mean, first incident of using a bodily fluid as a projectile at somebody. But as far as him getting fired up, not the first time. But AJ never got fired up about anything. He was very calm, level-headed. So the fact that Jalen Ramsey made him so mad that he beat the crap out of him on a televised game, that should tell you that Jalen Ramsey is just not a good human being. So that's all I need to really say about that. Jamar, make better decisions. Don't do something that dumb. And if you do it, yeah, maybe you didn't know a camera caught you. Just be honest. Say, not my finest moment. I'm not who I am as a person. It all. To quote Ted Lasso one more time, and I'll turn it over to you. I hope either all of us or none of us are judged by the actions at our worst moments. So, yeah, not great, but he's good.
Yeah. So just to cover the whole Jamar doing his thing, don't do that. That is no. That's don't do that. in a baseball equivalent, that's like throwing your bat or helmet at somebody
Yeah.
on the other team. You just don't do that. Secondly, Jalen Ramsey needs to just be done with football. He has done nothing but run his mouth and cause issues for the NFL
And
for
cheap shot.
the entire length of his entire NFL career. Just tell him you're no longer welcome to play in the NFL. Just call it a day. Just part ways with him, right? NFLPA, be like, look, guy, just put your papers in and retire, buddy. Okay, go do what Drake Kirkpatrick's doing with trying to save your image and maybe help with bringing awareness to traumatic brain injuries through the NFL and giving back to the community and stuff. Go do something positive with your life, because football is obviously not what you're able to do that with. Now, lastly, the competitive nature of Jamar Chase. I understand getting heated, right? And getting emotional and, getting frustrated with, not being able to get the ball simply because your quarterback's running around in fear for his life. And we're not able to run the ball effectively to really open up the passing plays. The only time we ran the ball effectively was essentially on like 2 miscues that Pittsburgh had. And we didn't even score off of any of it. So, Jamar, you're better than that. Wear it. Take ownership. Apologize. It's not going to happen again. Move on, because I'm not judging you. I know things happen, man. Just move on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so not a fun one. I mean, we skipped cheers and jeers, brought to you by W Energy. So if you want to get some great energy stuff, go over to their website. We've quoted many times. It'll be in the description of this episode. But cheers and jeers, I can sum it up very quickly. Cheers. We got a record, not one we wanted, but it's an NFL record. And then jeers, the defense. The defense is garbage, absolute garbage. I don't know any nicer way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, cheers. T. Higgins got a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. Money Mac has, he didn't miss. That's a cheer.
Yeah.
Jeer. It doesn't matter. It's our
No.
defense. Our defense couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. I mean, I don't think that they could tackle the tackling dummy. Those little circles with looks like a donut because it has a hole in the middle, and you roll them and you practice angle tackling and stuff, so that way you're not tackling each other and hurting each other. I don't think that they could tackle that.
No, it'd be a whiff. Totally a whiff.
I mean, ugh. Anyways, let's talk about brighter things, Casey. We had some ideas about some brighter days in our lives when we watched the Bengals and we had hope. There was hope.
Hope.
Casey, what was your moment of hope with the Bengals that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, it's honestly what made me a Bengals fan the most. I mean, I was a Bengals fan before, went to the games, but I was pretty young, so it's the year I remember the most of being like, wow, I'm really going to be invested in this for life, and it's going to make me very sad forever because the next year they sucked again. But it was 1996, so started off 1-7, finished 8-8, and that second half of the season was just magic for me. I mean, loved the games, was at so many memorable moments. And one of my favorite moments was actually against the Ravens. I think that might have been their first year or second year in the league. And the Bengals were up, but there was a goal line stand at the very end of the game. And of course, they quoted one of my favorite poets, which wasn't at the time, but when we were watching the video later, they quoted him. 3 times the Ravens came rapping at the door and quote the Bengals, nevermore. And they stopped Jamal Lewis on 3 straight running plays. And then on the 4th down, they dropped back, tried to throw it in, And the guy Bengal made a tackle was who? Trivia for anybody who knows. Sam
Shoot.
Shade. Safety Sam Shade made the tackle at the 1 yard line, and it was just awesome. Other great memories from that year. Carl Pickens. Carl Pickens is a great memory. I know people like, oh, he left in a bad way. Expletives going toward you because Carl Pickens is my guy. He was my first favorite player I ever had as a Bengal. Yes, he had an attitude, but if you know anything about the people who have been my favorite players growing up, they all have attitudes. I mean, it was Carl Pickens, Barry Larkin, Brandon Phillips, Chad Johnson. They all have attitudes. They all have a swagger about them. They have a don't give me no crap, I'm going to give you crap attitude. So if you don't like that, then how are you a Cincinnati sports fan? Because those are four big staples of the last 25 years. Or I guess 30 years now. Golly, we're so old. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, watching Carl Pickens run, David Dunn's kickoff return touchdown right before halftime against the Steelers that year at home. That was awesome. There's just so many great memories of that team. And Jeff Blake, he had the prettiest deep ball. For those of you who never watched Jeff Blake play or seen his highlights, just go type in on YouTube Jeff Blake dropping bombs or whatever you have to look up because he threw the most beautiful deep ball of anyone I've ever seen. No matter who you want to say could do it better. You know it's true, though. It was just beautiful. Just literally just beautiful trajectory.
Just the term tickled me, Casey. I'm sorry.
You remember the Shake and Blake craze? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you don't remember the Shake and Blake craze, Casey's right. He did throw the long ball really well.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful.
On the field, he threw the long ball really well.
I mean, everything else, yeah. But he was a Pro Bowl quarterback for in 95 he was. 96, I think he missed by 1 or 2 votes or whatever. He was pretty close. But, he was a good little quarterback there. Then 97 happened, and we don't need to get into that because we're on brighter stages. But, yeah, you had a lot of hope coming out of the 1996 season. Like, this team was 8-8. They're going to make it better next year. So we're going to keep it on that positive vibes, and I'll pass it over to you.
I think that one of my most memorable Bengals game, other than watching Shane Graham on Sunday Night Football kick it through the far uprights, through the south end zone at Paul Brown for Sunday night victory against Miami Dolphins. Yeah. Other than being there for that.
You have to give the fun story with that one, the more personal story of the Dolphins fans trying to beat up middle school aged us.
Without going into too much detail, yes, we had some unsavory Dolphins fans that were in our section, and they may have made some poor life decisions around that time, consuming too many daddy juices, as Coach Niederman would say. And shout out to Coach Niederman. You're awesome.
Yeah.
So mine goes back to October 22nd, 2000, right? Barely a month after my 11th birthday. I remember sitting in my living room. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were at the ball game.
Yep.
And I wasn't able to go because something was going on. I think I had like a Pee Wee game later that day, and I wasn't able to go. And I remember sitting there with my dad, and we're sitting in the living room watching on our old, tube television.
On the boob tube.
that thing. We thought it was the best, the bee's knees, man, until Kurt got his big Mitsubishi one. But man, we're sitting there watching, and I just remember thinking, like, today's special. Corey Dillon was going off, man, and you just felt it as a Bengals fan. You just saw the way that he was running, the way the line was blocking and creating holes for him. It was just clicking. And every time he'd run the ball, I mean, you were seeing like 5, 10, 15 yards, and then he breaks a big one. And he did it several times, and you're just thinking, man, how many yards does this guy have already? And it was like the first half. And I'm thinking, what is the record for how many yards someone has actually had in a game? And then here comes the 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and the the commentators on TV are starting to talk about Walter Payton's 275-yard rushing game. And I'm like, wait, how close is Corey Dillon to this? He's close. I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, man, he's crushing it. And he was like 232 or something like that. And then he breaks one for like 20 or 30 yards, and he's like buttoned up right on it. And I'm like, give him the ball, give him the ball. I'm in my living room screaming at the TV, give Corey the ball. And I remember when he took it for the final run to get up to 278. And I'm in my living room just dancing and screaming. And my dad's like, all right, sit down. Come on. And then my dad, if you know my dad, he got Big John voice in there. And, God rest his soul. And, I was just so excited because I was like, I finally saw the Bengals do something that was like record breaking, right? Like this is huge. Bengals never did anything good like this my whole life. And at least that I can remember. And, they went to the Super Bowl when I was, really young, but
You weren't born there when they went to the Super Bowl?
Wait, was
January
it 90?
Yeah, it was January of 89 when they went to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I was very, very, very small in a womb. So my life has technically begun at that point. So obviously I wouldn't have remembered that. If we were in a different culture, my birthday would be earlier. But anyways, that was like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And I just remember from the time 2000 came along until we finally made it into the playoffs during that wild card run. Right. We get in and we're in the play-in game against Pittsburgh when Palmer gets his knee rolled over.
Why'd you bring that up?
Because those 2 seasons for me kept giving me hope.
Yeah.
Those 2 seasons until that game gave me so much hope. And then we have the best quarterback in the league, 2 of the best receivers in the league. We are paying them crazy amounts of money. We have one of the best edge rushers in the league who are refusing to pay. We have no linebackers to speak of. We have no other defensive linemen to speak of. And we have somebody in the defensive backfield who may be decent.
Yeah.
So we go from that to this.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I just look back at those days, being a kid and thinking like, oh man, the Bengals have hope. The Bengals, next year the Bengals are going to be so good. Like coming out of that 8-8 season in '96, and then what was it, a 9-7 season in 2005 was it?
2005 was 11-5.
There we go.
11-5.
The big season, 11-5.
8-8, 7-9, 8-8, then 4-11. Then they went back to the playoffs in 2010. Well, 09 and then the playoffs 2010.
And then all that time span between the first time getting to the playoffs in my life and like my memorable lifetime until we actually won a playoff game. All I could think about, and I'm sure any Bengals fan who's my age or older could ever think about, was, who cares we got in the playoffs? We can't win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then finally we win that ball game, and it's like, okay, now we have expectations. Right? The Bengals can win playoff games now. And then we go to the Super Bowl that year and arguably should have won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
And then the next year we get to the AFC Championship and should have gone back to the Super Bowl that following year, which we should have gone back to the Super Bowl that year because, redos.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then we drop off to now we can't even make the playoffs.
Well, like I said, to quote the old meme at this point, first time, just want to look at the bandwagon fans from the Super Bowl era and be like, No. I've seen this one before, guys. '05, we had the best team, one of the best teams in football, arguably, with the Patriots and Colts. And Carson Palmer went down. Then it took us 4 years to get back to the playoffs. So this is not the first time this has happened. For the Bengals to historically mess up so bad that they put the franchise back 4 or 5 years, I've seen this story before. We saw it at the end of the Dalton Green years. They didn't draft well for 4 or 5 years, and they were terrible until Burrow came along and they had enough money to go out there and buy a defense.
Yeah, and they got lucky with when Burrow came in. Honestly, they got really lucky when Burrow came in because they had him on a rookie deal. So they were able to buy a defense. I mean, at this point, if Burrow wants to win a Super Bowl at any given point in time, he's either going to need to request a trade or take a hefty pay cut so they can pay a defense to actually play defense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Because, even if you finish, I've thought about this. Like, I want them to have a high draft pick. Because to me, and people will say I'm not a fan, but I don't think like a fan all the time. I try to think of it as a business, as an organization, as a unit. What are we here for? We're here to win a championship. I don't care if you win 3 meaningless games in December, early January. That means nothing. We want to win a championship. Does drafting third or drafting 12th make a difference? Absolutely. It really does. And I mean, people say, oh, you're not a fan, you're cheering for them to lose. No, you lose what's already lost in order to win next year. But even getting the best draft pick they can't draft defensive players. The first round pick this year, garbage. The fact that Miles Murphy had his best game ever on Sunday and it was a blip on the radar shows you he's a bust. What's the best he's going to be? A rotational piece when he was a first round draft pick? He's playing just as good as Joseph Osai, who was a third round pick. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. But I mean, we have 7 weeks to talk about all this, so I don't need to kill our entire content. Let's just meander into closing thoughts and try to stay positive.
My closing thought is a positive one. And I want you guys to focus on the positive with me. Okay. Miles Murphy was a first round draft pick, and he is still playing. That is my final thought. He is a Bengals first round draft pick that is still playing on the defensive side.
The bar is that low at this point, but I'll take it. Hey, that is a positive.
It's positive.
I'll try to end with a positive as well. Let's see. It could be worse. We could always be Browns fans. I mean, there's that. At least we're not Browns fans.
Yeah. Hey, remember, check out Dubby. It's dubby.gg, like good game. Promo code TBCFB10. Get 10% off. Use that code. Appreciate you guys.
More complicated. Yeah, check us out on Bengals everywhere.
Check us out on all your socials. Follow us, like, subscribe, share, comment, interact with us. It's fun.
You can make fun of us. We don't care. Just whatever comments you want to make. It's fine.
Especially make fun of Casey's bald head because it's a really easy target. It shines at night.
We may pull a Jay and Silent Bob and come track you down, but other than that, we're good.
We might find you, but there's nothing's going to happen anyway.
We're too old and we don't want to go to prison. So
anyway, I don't want to hurt my back any more than it is.
And that's going to do it here. Too old to fight here on Talkin Bengals. We may just shout at you or something. We don't know. Get off our lawn.
And if you're listening to us still, we love you guys. Thank you very much.
Yep. Have a wonderful week and hoo day.
Hoo day.